Well, hello there, you amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. It's Wicked Wednesday. Wicked, wonderful Wednesday. Midweek come, baby. Midweek come. You're looking absolutely amazing. Let's get straight into the meat and potatoes as we are talking about TPUSA as Andrew Culver and the top brass. Top brass. Not all of them. Erica weren't there. She was busy preparing for upcoming performances as she is going to be doing an interview very soon. First one. She's going to be talking about everything, including that chair. It's never going to get old. But yes, Andrew Culver and the top brass have come together in a rebuttal because Candace Owens came out. Not just Candace Owens, do you know what I mean? I know I did a video yesterday and it got a lot of backlash because I dared question the wonderful, the great Candace Owens. And look, I don't have an issue with Candace Owens. What I have an issue is the dangling of the carrot and never really going anywhere, never really truly learning anything about the case itself that moves it forward, moves the needle. Do you know what I mean? I want to see the needle being moved. People say, trust her, she'll get there in the end. And look, she might do. And I want to be proven absolutely wrong. I truly do. But she came out, as many other people had previously already brought the Mikey McCoy video up. What shows Mikey McCoy casually strolling away in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination, and people are saying, look, it just fucking looks odd. In the grander scheme of things, when you think about the entire scenario, Charlie Kirk's just been shot, he's on the floor, and then you've got his chief of staff, Mikey McCoy is his chief of staff, who was on the phone just strolling away. So obviously, Turning Point USA have had to come back. Well, I say had to come back. The thing is, I find it quite funny that they feel that they have to. You would think, right, if there was nothing in all this whatsoever, nothing in it, they would just fucking ignore it. Don't give it the time of day. It's just like, yeah, look, because they did say, look, we appreciate people love Charlie and they're looking at things to which one of the other people who's in it, which you'll see in a second, he's like saying, well, I don't want to give it that much grace. Do you know what I mean? I think it's fucking disgusting that people dare question things that look odd, and it's like he's trying to say that things don't look odd. So we have a look and listen to this, because my bullshit meter, mate, I was like, what? When I was listening to this, it's like it was the worst attempt. You might, if you're going to do this bad, and after we've listened to it, I'll tell you why it's so bad. But if you're going to do something, do it properly, and they just didn't really do it properly. Shouldn't be any echoes on this. I apologise yesterday. I'm using this different mic. Sometimes I use this going through the audio interface. Sometimes I just use the plug and play mic. And when I switch between the two, there's some things you have to change. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's listen to this.
Here the last few weeks. They are attacking him, claiming, based on a few seconds of clips, that he allegedly has like a nonchalant or calm reaction to...
It's not allegedly, though. It's definitely not allegedly. I hate it when you can see video footage that shows somebody calmly walking away. I'm walking away from a trouble. Second day in a row. Craig David. Do you know what I mean? Legend. Don't know why he always had to say his name in every song he did. I don't know that. Like harsh video, but yeah. So it wasn't alleged. We saw it. We literally saw it, and let's see what he says.
Charlie's murder, and I'm just going to be blunt about this. This is a extremely disgusting attack, and I can speak to that because I was there when it happened, and I was next to Mikey when it happened. And what I can say is, I can't say every single thing that happened, but I want to talk about this specific narrow thing. That the shooting occurs. I am next to Mikey. Both of us hear a loud crack. We both turn. We both see Charlie, who has been shot. Both of us, I think at about the same time, realize that that means there is a shooter who is on the scene. And, you know, you just hear the crack, so you don't know, did it come from far away? Did it come from close? Is there a mass shooter unfolding right now? So I and him both had the reaction of, let's get out of here before we were both shot. That is not...
What makes you laugh, right? What you've got to think to yourself is think about the scenario itself. You hear a gunshot, right? Like he says it himself, and this is where this now starts to completely fall apart from the mechanics of the mind. The mechanics of the mind. So think in a scenario where you don't expect anything to happen. You don't expect anything, and this is... I'm going to say this. I'm going to say the chief of staff, right? Chief of staff. That's who we're talking about. We're talking about McCoy and this guy here, which is Blake Neff. Now, you don't expect anything. You can't expect anything because you've done nothing about it. Yes, you've got some security, but the security, half the time they're on the fucking phones. We've seen footage where they're just standing there and they're just on their phones. It seems to be that that's all they were doing. They weren't watching anything. They weren't doing anything. They weren't actively making sure that Charlie was safe because they were too busy on their phone, probably playing Candy Crush. I don't know what they were doing, but they were on their phone. There was no drones deployed. There was nobody covering the multiple vantage points on these roofs, which you would think to yourself, now if Tyler Robinson has managed in the week, just 1 week leading up to this situation, to find somewhere where he could perch himself, lay down, and aim and shoot Charlie Kirk, then how is it that this security detail couldn't work it out in their fucking thick, tiny little brains that where Charlie is, with all these buildings in front of him, is a sniper's haven? We've said it before. And why is it that they couldn't put somebody on each of them roofs patrolling up and down, up and down, up and down? That would have saved his life. People have said they weren't allowed to deploy drones, whatever. Don't believe that, because you can put 249 gram drones up in the air quite legally, and they could have demanded it. They could have said, look, 249 gram drones, which will overcome the weight capacity legislations that mean they can't go in the sky above people and what have you. But if you don't want to do that, then you just put people on each of the roofs that provide a vantage point to take a shot at Charlie. And they didn't do it. And the chief of staff, that is his responsibility to manage everything that's going on, and making sure that Charlie Kirk is safe. He has a responsibility, and that responsibility failed. So, but again, so you don't think nothing's going to happen, and I conclude you don't think nothing's going to happen because you did nothing about it. So then there's a shot, and then you see Charlie land on the floor. But both of these individuals, their supposed natural reaction to that is to remain calm and calmly walk away. To controlled, calm, both together in unity, tandem. They're both their natural responses to an active shooter, which he, by his own admission, said, well, you don't know if they're going to start shooting again. You don't know whether this is a mass shooter, not just a single shot to kill. This could have been a mass shooter. Let's both stroll off and just wander off. And that's what I don't get. You would expect one of hit the floor, get down, save yourselves, or grab each other, run and show panic. And I don't expect anything. Damn it, there's someone shooting. Charlie's on the floor. Whoa. These are the calmest motherfuckers that I've ever seen in that scenario. Everybody else is fucking jumping down on the floor and going fucking nuts. And I'm guessing some of them were even laying on the floor praying. And these are just calmly, they're literally next to one person who's already been taken out, and they're just wandering off. And that's what I don't get. But let's just listen to a little bit more, because it's already annoying me.
Us abandoning Charlie. Charlie had a security team. They all leapt immediately into action. And
bit late. They at the point where Charlie Kirk's on the floor and been shot and he's basically dead at that point, that's when they leap into action. They should have leapt into action before all of this happened. Their leaping into action is at the point when Charlie Kirk arrives on site. That's when they should have been leaping into action.
Charlie out of there, which was what their job was to do. My job was not to get in the way and screw.
And again, that's what their job was to do. So they'd literally had a conversation about, right, so in the event that you're shot while you're sitting there talking to people, your job is to do this, 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 and this. So if you've had a conversation about what to do in the aftermath of this scenario, then why was there seemingly no communication about how to prevent it in the first place? Don't be on your phone. Stop playing Candy Crush while I'm talking to people. Keep your fucking eyes peeled. And how about looking at the area prior to us going live and making sure that there isn't a fucking roof 140 yards away that someone can just lay down and shoot me from, if that's where it came from. You know what I mean? Like, people have said, like, he might have been shot from closer or whatever. Well, you wouldn't know. The security wouldn't know because we weren't fucking looking. Had the faces buried in the phones. Fucking wrong, mate.
Because like I had to be a hero. That was not my job. I remember even running past, both of us going past the SUV that we came in on, and me thinking, should I get in that car? And then thinking, no, that's a really stupid thing to do. And then I kept going. So I was not with Mikey, or I don't remember being with him. I think I was ahead of him as we left. And then we get out, and I run for, can't have been more than 15 or 20 seconds. And then I realized there hasn't been another shot, so the shooter has likely been detained or stopped or something, not in immediate danger. I pause, I look around me, and I see Mikey. And I see Mikey there. And I will never forget what I saw, because I've seen Mikey almost every day for the past 2 years. I know his personality very well.
I hadn't heard another shot because you was definitely listening out. And again, it's that mental clarity to know what is going on. I couldn't do it.
A very bubbly guy. He's a very happy guy almost all of the time. And I'll never forget what I saw, because it was clear in the moment that he was profoundly freaked out. What I'll always remember is the way his lip was quivering, which I'd never seen before. And you very rarely see from someone that he was freaking out. And then I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was, he was looking around, and then he says, I need to call Erica. And then he takes his phone and he begins calling Erica. And I don't want to disclose how that call unfolded, but he did that.
And what we've seen is, like, he portrays this like they've got away, they've walked away. That he's even spoken here about running past the car that was to take Charlie away, and thought, no, I'm not going to do that. He's then turned and seen Mikey, who's then apparently turned around and said, I need to call Erica. While the footage that we've seen looks like he's already on the phone talking. Now, don't get me wrong, you can voice dial. It's, hey, Siri. I better not say that. Here we go. Go away. Call Erica, do you know what I mean? And then call him if he's got fucking earphones in, whatever. So we can't ignore the fact that he doesn't need to pick his phone up and physically dial. And he's not an older guy, do you know what I mean? He's quite a young lad as well. So he will perhaps know how to do stuff like that. But they make it sound like the call came much later than what it did. And who knows? We might be reading into it wrong. But the story just seems a bit crap. It seems a bit too, I don't know. You don't. Why would you want to answer something to this extent that doesn't? If you don't feel threatened by what is being put out, if you don't feel that people will look into it and argue, you just ignore it. Like, if I get so many people who criticise and what have you, I could do a video every fucking day. You know what I mean? And attack and. Candace Owens is obviously saying what she's saying. She's not the only person who's saying what she's saying either. Again, that video had been out days before she mentioned it. And you think to yourself, it does look odd. It was just walking away, like Craig David. Just walking away nonchalantly. You can't deny it because there's a fucking video showing it. And then you're trying to, I I don't know. Let me know what you think. That was their comeback, though. Obviously, you can go over to Charlie Kirk's channel and go and watch the entire video. But it's just so frustrating to listen to it because you've got to kind of, like I said earlier, if you don't expect any of this to happen, but have such a controlled response to it, that is going to raise eyebrows. It is going to make you look a little bit you're going to stick out like a sore thumb if you don't expect it. If there's no expectation for the death of Charlie Kirk right in front of you, I think you'd be freaking the fuck out. I don't think you'd almost be able to control what you did. It would all be so automatic, and they were almost in tandem with that automation. But who knows? Will we ever know? Not if Kash Patel and co have anything to do with it. That's what it seems. Anyway, love you all. Let me know down below what you think of it all so far, and I shall catch you all tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your midweek hump. Mwah.